Hi, Roger. How are you?
Hello, hello. Doing pretty well. Pretty well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. I am happy. I'm always saying this because it's true. I'm happy to be here with you today. Thank you for,
Oh,
yeah,
me too. Me too.
yeah. So, we are here today to discuss that chapter. I have some questions and some things that I would like to. Do you have in English the word to reverberate with you?
To to reverberate with you. What do you mean? To like? Tell me. What do you,
We
can you
we
explain a
have
bit more?
we have that word in Portuguese, so it would be to talk about with you, and we can talk together, and that maybe be beneficial to both of us to talk about that, to extend some of the contents.
Yeah, I'd like to review, or I'd like to bounce some ideas off of you. You could say.
Sounds okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, I am listening to Science of Enlightenment, and yeah, so chapters 3, 4, and 5. The chapter 3, it's called mysticism. Uh,
Mysticism. Yeah.
mysticism,
Yeah.
mysticism. So it's very interesting because he says that this cultivation of concentration, it's not something that you can only find in the Buddhism tradition, Buddhist
In
tradition,
in the Buddhist tradition. Yeah.
in the
Well,
Buddhist tradition.
it might not even be right to say the Buddhist tradition because there's different traditions within Buddhism.
Yeah,
So I would just say
within Buddhism,
within Buddhism, and
within Buddhism.
the range of different Buddhist traditions. Yeah.
Yeah. So he starts presenting the aspects of religions, how or the religious experiences. So he talks about like the most common would be the belief systems. Like the vast majority of people, they believe in like dogmas and credos. So it is the thinking religious. Then he talks about the
Religious thinking. Religious
religious
thinking.
religious thinking, religious thinking. Then he talks that other group of people are into the religious feeling. So
Mm.
they feel religions in their heart. They have like this lost feeling for this God entity or the spiritual source. And then we have mysticism.
Mm.
The minority of people ha- um, are in this fall into this category. So are the people who are familiar with the high states of concentration, yeah. So
Yeah.
you could be that through systemic cultivation or by accident. By accident, I mean, I wonder how would someone be in a deep state of concentration by accident, but he said it could happen.
It
Um,
could happen. It could happen.
it could happen. So yeah, so it's through practice. So and he points that it's interesting because as he started,
He points out
he
that
points out he points out that what was the thing? No, I forgot. He points out that
mystics. Uh,
sorry, sorry. He points out that let's see. Oh yeah, I remember. He points out that in order for you to no, he points out that people from different centuries, from different traditions, countries, languages, people who clearly didn't know each other about each other, they they went through the same process of high
mm.
concentration. So there are phases like so, and yeah, he says that first you develop concentration as a tool for you to get better at something that you do in your life, maybe sports, maybe your life in general, your work, etc. but then as you grow into concentration, you can reach some, you can go beyond
Yeah.
the mind. So eventually one would reach enlightenment, this state of clarification. You understand the nature of experience, nature of
Not through
suffer.
concentration though.
No, so yeah, so tell me a little bit about that. How does one reach enlightenment? And I think the most, it's a difficult question, isn't it? The
Yeah, I
whole
wish
book
I
is
knew.
about. No, okay, sorry. But
No, go.
would you tell me why enlightenment should be something people, why is enlightenment something, or if enlightenment is something that people should go about? Is it
Why
correct?
is an enlightenment something people should strive for or
Strive for, if is
seek to
something,
attain, if
yeah,
it is
if it is
something?
something that people should seek to attain, and if it's
Yeah.
not through concentration, how does one get enlightened?
Yeah. Okay. I'll address this second point first.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
typically through meditation, there's two kind of stems of meditation. There's a concentration practice where you're actively pinning your attention to a meditation object and trying to hold it there um, over a period of time to gain a particular state of mind. And then there's like just vipassana or mindfulness, where you're not trying to change your state of mind. You're just trying to notice simply what is. And that doesn't have to do with states of high concentration. It's just noticing what is. So you can be very distracted even, but as long as you're mindful and noticing that, oh, you're in a distracted state, you're doing mindfulness. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, typically, the thought is that the concentration alone doesn't get you enlightenment. You need this element of mindfulness because concentration is gearing you towards a particular state of mind, but all states of mind are impermanent, right? And so it will whatever you do while you're very concentrated will come and go. In the mindfulness side of things, this is more open-ended and eclectic and just building your awareness of whatever state of mind you're in, which is a more all-encompassing kind of goal, which enlightenment should be getting you towards. But can I be aware and can I have equanimity in all states of mind? And they don't just have to be concentrated states of mind, but dull states of mind, sleepy states of mind, distracted states of mind, bored states of mind.
But
Um,
doesn't, sorry, th- this requires concentration, no? For you, in order for you to notice, sort of,
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the two do feed into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And just by doing a mindfulness practice for vipassana, you will be developing your concentration anyway. But you can lean more heavy on the concentration side or the open-ended side. Open-ended kind of just mindfulness side. Yeah.
Okay.
Your other question: why should people seek to be enlightened?
Yeah, if they should. Do you think they should? Meditation leads, is meditation the path to enlightenment? Or, I mean, it should be or not, according to you?
Yeah, according to me, so I'm less and less interested in enlightenment as I feel like enlightenment almost can be like a diversion towards a goal that actually isn't what we really want. What I think what we really want is to reduce our suffering.
Mhm.
And if enlightenment didn't do that, then we wouldn't care about it.
Mhm.
But the promise is that when you get enlightened, it really reduces your suffering. Um, but I just view the I'm interested in just reducing my suffering,
Mhm.
having more elevated levels of well being,
Mhm.
and I think becoming more awake to the nature of the mind has this correlating effect where it does actually reduce your suffering.
Yeah. So he talked about that in chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken, like the nature
If
of the
if
mind.
I'm not mistaken,
If I'm not mistaken, he brings that up on chapter 4 or
hmm.
5, maybe.
In chapter four,
I have a problem with prepositions in.
yeah.
So his talk the chapter's name is working with the feeling body. So he talks that any experience you will ever have, they will involve one or several of the six senses: hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, the feeling body, and the thinking mind. And he says that we need to keep track of the type of thought we have. So it could be judging, planning, believing convictions, fantasizing, and also about the thinking process. Am I thinking in terms of imagery, or am I thinking in terms of words? And actually, it might seem obvious when you hear this, but actually, I was not aware that I was thinking in terms of images and words at all.
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
mean, and then he says, he's so funny, Roger. He says sometimes some people they even think in terms of paragraphs and books, and
uh,
and yeah, and then it gets easier for maybe for me, like it was obvious and easy for me to see that, because sometimes I'm thinking in other languages. So you clearly, like, it's easier, I guess, to point out that there are actually words in your mind.
mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, so we have these internal conversations and imagery going on. And also, he said in the background, there are some other subtle process of thinking that in our subconscious, there most people cannot hear,
Mm, mhm,
and it's
mhm,
difficult to pin it down. So he says that we need to keep track. If we keep track, apparently we will be with what is, and we will be sure of what is going on. And yeah, so we are going to be in the state of mindfulness. But I was wondering, so that the promise at being present will reduce suffering, because you so he tells the story about the students about one student of him who is dying of
one
cancer,
student of his.
of his a student of his who is dying of cancer, and he decided to
Oh,
have you read this?
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this bit. Yeah,
Yeah. So
go
he
on.
goes to the student's city, and he's there throughout the process. He has to leave. He does not stay until the end. But so he asks the students, like he asked this the student asked, before you go, do you have a final advice for me? And
Do,
then he
do you
says,
have not an advice? Just do you have any final advice for me?
"Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have any final advice for me?" Then Yang says, it appears to me he appears to me as you have. He appears to me as you have a life. Oh, he appears to me you have.
It appears to me you have. It appears to me you have. Yeah.
He appears to me you have um five sensations, feelings. You
five
appear to five
senses.
senses. You have pain that the tumor is causing. You have exhaustion,
Oh, yeah, these are five hindrances, right? Five
hindrances.
hindrances, like 5 points of suffering. Five,
Okay.
yeah,
So you have five hindrances,
hindrances. Yeah, I'll write it in the
hindrances,
notes. Yeah.
pain, exhaustion, because you can't sleep. You have nausea. You have a little bit of irritability, and you also have fear. Is this correct? And then he says, yes, you're correct. So never lose track of what you're feeling. Never lose track of it. Sometimes you'll feel one more, one less, but be with the hindrances, hindrances,
Hindrances. Yeah.
hindrances. And that is big. Why is that? He says that if you keep track of what is happening, you will reduce the suffering. And I was wondering, actually wondering why does that reduce? Because do you think it is because, or do you know it is because when we think, I mean, when we are not conscious of what is happening, it either be good or bad, we our minds tend to exacerbate that. What
Exacerbate. Exacerbate.
exacerbate? So he says, keep infusion those with
Hindrances.
hindrances with mindfulness, keep track of what is, and also equanimity, like no interference and no non-judgment. And then you won't suffer more than you should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
More than you have to. Yeah.
more than you have to.
Um, I think it relates to if you have a clearer perceptual understanding of a point of pain, you objectify it more in your mind, and there's more room to detach it from the sense of self. And I think in order for something to cause suffering, the self has to be embedded in it. And so you make it more of an object distinct from yourself. Just here it is. And yeah, if you observe it closely, you just got a better understanding. Okay, here it comes, here it goes, here it comes, here it goes. There's less confusion surrounding what it is. Ah, here's this thing again. I know this thing. I know it very well. I know I don't have to fear it. It's not shocking or surprising.
Yeah. Okay. So would you give me an example of something like for you, for example, I know you fight, do I say fight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or practice?
Um, you'd say I know you practice Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, yeah,
Have
but actually I don't anymore. I haven't
um,
practiced Jiu Jitsu in uh, like a year and a half or 2 years, actually.
oh,
So,
sorry.
no,
I mean, if it's the bad
it's
thing,
nothing to say sorry about.
yeah, I don't know. But have you ever got injured with jiu-jitsu or, I mean,
Yeah,
I was wondering
yeah.
how does that happen? How do you apply this consciousness to
I would say okay, things that help. Again, if you have because there's one part of the mind that is trying to make sense of reality, wants a good story about what is happening in the world. Often it really helps people with a condition if they can be diagnosed, because then they can give a name to this thing, and then that helps them to better talk about this condition. And if there's any research done on the condition, they can look up, okay, what are the symptoms, what's related to it, how does it behave? And there's less confusion about why is this happening to me. You have a clear and say, oh, this is what it is. I know that I either need to do this to fix it, or it will fix itself on its own in time, or it won't last that long. Or sometimes the scariest story, it's like, oh, this is forever. Oh no. Um, I'll give an example of like dealing with pain. Often when I fly, when the plane is descending, I get a lot of pressure in my ears. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you've had this as well, and it becomes really painful. And you try doing these things, you try like
Mm-hmm.
sort of unblocking your ears to release the pressure, but sometimes it doesn't work. And I'm just stuck with this pain in my ears as the plane is descending. But I know what it is, so I don't freak out. I know eventually when I land, it will clear itself out, it'll end. But then I focus all my attention on the pain, and I notice some qualities about the experience. I notice that the intensity of the pain comes in waves. It peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. And I can just focus and pay attention to this increase in intensity of pain and then decrease, increase, decrease. And I can get a feel for that, how often it occurs. And notice, okay, here's it coming, it's peaking, pain, and then it's reducing. And then here's it coming again, it's coming, peak pain, and then it's reducing. And this has this feeling of really reducing the suffering element to that experience, because that experience is more understood and it's not surprising. And it's just like, okay, here it comes. And then there it was, and it was bearable. It was okay.
Yeah.
And then it comes again. But this time when it comes again, I know it better. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool. He talks about that, like uh every condition, every experience is always moving and changing. And he mentioned something that actually you talked to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the expansion and contraction, that
Mm-hmm.
everything is expansion and contraction. How is that? Um, so when you were giving this example, so the expansion would be when the pressure uh, goes to its peak, the opposite?
Opposite.
Opposite. So the contraction, peak, relief,
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah. Because contraction is what solidifies a sensation or bundle of phenomena that makes it more of a thing. The expansion, the release is going towards nothingness. So when there's something, it's like contraction. When there's nothing, that's release. So pain, release, pain, release.
Yeah. Yeah, so many new concepts for me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it is still difficult to see things like that, especially emotional pains. So how would you apply? Do you have any advice, like with the feeling of rejection that sometimes it's very intense in my life? How would I apply this to a sensation like, am I being rejected? What is happening? Because it appears to me with the body, it's not easy, but I can understand this peaks. But with emotional pain, how
Yeah,
would you
yeah.
apply? Is it
Okay.
more difficult or?
Yeah. I must have shared with you my I've got a 5-step kind of like meditation on dealing with emotions.
No,
Um,
no.
I'll share it with you later.
Okay.
But the gist of it, I mean, I want to say a couple of things. Is one, this is dealing with your emotions through meditation is just one way to handle emotions. But I think there's certainly a place for getting therapy or improving your life situation actually, and having better mental models with how to think and integrate experiences, not just meditating, but to meditate is helpful as well. So the 5 steps when it comes to emotion, analyzing an emotion, I think, okay, the first one is the context and the story you tell yourself about why you think you're feeling what you're feeling. Um, Most people just ruminate on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, she did this to me and I can't believe it and I'll never, blah, blah, blah. Okay, recognize you're telling yourself some kind of story about why you think you're feeling what you're feeling. And I say why you think you're feeling, because you will just have an interpretation of the experience, and it won't necessarily be a correct interpretation. You've got only part of the picture of why you're feeling what you're feeling. So it's just a story. For the moment, let's not buy into the story. Let's just put it aside. The second thing to focus on is the location. Where do you feel this emotion in the body most strongly? Is that easy for you to do? Is it quite hard for you to locate your
No, it wasn't. It was also a new concept that he brought me, that feelings are body sensations, and one can start discussing the location of a feeling in the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. For me, it does not yet. Feeling does not equate body sensation. I mean, it makes sense. Sometimes you hear things and you don't know why, but they feel accurate. And as he was saying, I was like, I feel the validity in it. But I don't know what to do with that information yet. But I could feel it. Wow.
Try to find it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall I go on? Shall I describe the others?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The third one is, okay, what is so once you've spent some time locating the feeling of the emotion, and you kind of, okay, it's like, okay, it's this big and it's kind of this shape and it's sort of maybe deeper in my chest or wherever, in your head or blah, 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 stomach. Spend some minutes really understanding the shape of the emotion and where it's located in space in your experience. The third one is, what is the flavor of the emotion? Is it hot? Is it tingling? Is it kind of electricy or spicy or something? Or maybe you can't even find a word to describe it. But there's some quality that's distinctive, because you can feel different emotions in the same place. So just because you've got the location doesn't mean you've understood the emotion, because some people might feel stress in their forehead but also feel anxiety in there, or panic or anger in the same location or something like this. So there's something different here. Like, what is the flavor? I'm saying flavor, but it's not like a taste. Yeah. Quality of the emotion, like, again, prickly or spiky or cool or breezy or soft or heavy, or something like this, and really try to tap into that. And that is not necessarily, it will be associated with the location, the spatial location, but that part of information of the emotion is not really represented in space. Like, in a basic overview, you'll think, okay, it's all happening here. But if you can single out this flavor quality, you get a taste of it that's not really related to its spatial location. But anyway, yeah, the fourth one is the intensity of the emotion. How strongly do you feel it? And if you pay attention, its strength will, like I said, with the pressure in my ear when I'm in a plane, its strength will waver. It will go stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker. And normally within seconds, there'll be a subtle ebb and flow to the intensity. Can you pay attention to, oh, it's stronger now, it's weaker now, it's stronger now, it's weaker now. Notice this. How quickly is it doing this? Okay. Yeah, that's nothing. Fifth and last point is, what is the valence quality of the emotion?
The valence?
Valence.
Valence. What does that mean? Valence.
This means basically, if something has positive valence, it means it's that quality that you want this experience to continue. If something has negative valence, it means negative valence is suffering, basically. You want this experience to stop. And neutral, meaning you don't care if it stays or goes.
Okay.
and just notice, is there a part of my mind that's judging this as negative or positive or whatever? And just be really honest and go, oh, okay, here it is. Like, there's the part of me that really just doesn't want to feel this. Okay, and you can make a note to yourself, you're like, okay, negative, negative, negative. And maybe just in the noticing it, it becomes neutral, or maybe positive, or not. But just be aware, okay, this is all of these 5 things kind of make up the emotion.
Wow. Wow. He talks, I mean, probably is it something that you developed or it's something that you've read, these 5 steps?
I kind of came up with it myself, but it's a mishmashing.
Yeah.
It's a of things I've read in different
Hmm.
places.
No, yeah, because he talks about a little bit, not all of that, but he talks about the flavor. And I remember thinking, wow, how does sensation in the body has a flavor? Yeah, he says that it um I mean, hot feels different from cold, pressure feels different from itch, understand what
Mm.
you're feeling, and also the intensity, like a mild anger is different from homicidus rage, but it's in homicidal rage, but it is within the same category, like anger.
Yeah.
And so try to see where you're at. So this level of awareness, I don't think most human beings have. It's when we are feeling an emotion, especially if we're feeling strongly, be it bad or good, uh, we know maybe we are feeling that, but we don't have idea of the quality of the intensity and neither
Mm.
the location, let alone the
Mm.
location and shape and
Mm.
spaciousness. Like, but
Yeah.
it's interesting to think that an emotion has a geographic, so to speak,
Yeah.
spacious. So you're feeling love where? Where does one feel anger? So interesting.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I've learned so much. It's very sorry. Say it.
Oh, good, good, good. But like the thing is like these are skills to learn and to get a better handle of what flavor means or intensity means. You got to practice it. You got to really notice a moment when you're feeling an emotion
Yeah.
and do these exercises. Start paying attention to these different qualities, different parts of the emotion.
Yeah. Can I ask you one last question real quickly?
You know.
So how do you take notes when you're learning something new? Do you have a notebook? Do you have a system or you don't
Mm.
need it? Where do you put your knowledge?
Yeah, yeah.
Your mind?
I write notes when I have like. I don't really take like little notes on things. Well, sometimes. Yeah, my note taking is more with like a friend or something. Like I bounce ideas off of a friend, send a friend a message like, "Oh, there's this idea," and like maybe
Fun?
we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I don't have a system. Yeah. Do you?
Well, I'm taking notes now. I have this notebook called books. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
take notes here and then I come back to them. But I was wondering, as this notes increase, what am I going to do with that? But maybe I'll integrate. I'll just integrate everything that I'm writing down. Yeah. And actually
Yeah.
discussing it helps. So when I hear like the same words over and over again, I know what they mean. So, but first I had to write
Yeah.
down the concept, but now I
Okay.
know it's good, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good. Yeah, no, I take less notes and just hope that I remember.
So thank you, Roger. Thank you once again. I'll see you on
Well,
Thursday
see
and
you Thursday, Camila.
have a great day. Thank you so much. You
Hey,
don't
you too.
it's very valuable you're doing for me. Thank you.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay, be well, Camila. See you soon.
See you soon.